COVID survivor, it's really important to know who in your network, family, or friends have had COVID in the past. So COVIDWISE is a new app in Virginia to help you to do just that. To talk more about this, let's welcome Jeff Stover, Executive Advisor to the Commissioner at the Virginia Department of Health. Welcome, Jeff. How are you?
Hi, nice to be here.
Hey there, Jeff.
Hi. Welcome to the show. Jeff, tell me a little bit, what is this new app called COVIDWISE in Virginia and why it's so important?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. You know, COVIDWISE is the nation's first exposure notification app. So what that means is, you know, we have technology now in our pockets that allow us to be able to receive potential exposures to COVID-19, you know, when we're around people we don't even know. So it really means that the community has to come together. The more people who use it, the better off we are. So that when you're in line at the grocery store and you don't know the person behind you, and that person later tests positive and they reported it through the app, you know, you depended on some of the risk factors involved, you know, you may very well get a notification, and there's no way you would have gotten that otherwise.
Wow,
That's great. It's very interesting. And can you explain, Jeff, how the idea of COVIDWISE came about through Apple and Google Play and how they played a role?
Yeah, so giants, you know, I think they came together in the very early days to say, you know, we think we've got technology that can make a difference here. So they came together before states started thinking about this really and said, we've put our heads together from an Apple and Google perspective, and this is what we think we can do. So they did that. They put a skeleton together that lies in the operating systems of these Android and iPhones. And a place like Virginia, we could build an app to do exposure notification that sits on top of that skeleton, right? So we put the skin together, we put the muscles in it, and we make it work, but we can't do it without that framework that they provided to us.
Oh, okay. And Virginia was the first state, right?
We were the first state, that's correct.
Good.
Yes, that's awesome that we are the first one. So how it really works, I download the app and my family and friends, because you just say that if I'm in the supermarket, but as someone else have the COVIDWISE app, I can have a notification. So it works via Bluetooth, or let's say my friend, she doesn't have it, I still have a notification from her or not?
No, so both phones. So it's not about people at all, right? It's about devices. That's what it's about, right? Your device is just attached to you most of the time. So we make it seem like it's you. So it's all Bluetooth. So each phone has to have that app installed. And then if you're within close enough proximity, it's Bluetooth, right? It's sharing keys, just like you do with your speaker in your bedroom, except you're sharing it with another phone. So the fact that you're having lunch with someone, for example, you're sharing keys about every 10 to 20 minutes. Wow. And they record those numbers of each other. So if one of you reports positive later on, and what you're really reporting are those strings of keys. So then my phone is going out and looking at this key server that people report to if they send in something, right? And looking for other devices that would match the keys that are on my phone, because our two phones shared keys at one point in time. Right?
Okay, and here's where it can get a little, you know, confusing. Now, you know, you've talked about who should use COVIDWISE, but how do we protect our privacy? I mean, you're talking about sharing a lot of information.
Yeah. So excellent question. And this app, we collect 0 personally identifiable information and 0 location data. It's all Bluetooth. You know, we don't need to know where you are. We don't need to know who you are. All we need to know is that those Bluetooth keys matched at some point in time. So even if they do match, right? Even if your phone matches with someone else's that had reported, there's no way for us to be able to tell where that happened. We know when it was because a date time stamp.
Exactly.
But we don't know where it was. And that doesn't really matter. What really matters is there was an exposure, and you either were or were not, you know, exposed for a long enough period of time in close enough proximity to result in an exposure notification.
The most important is the notification. And Jeff, this app works for all kind of phones, Samsung, smartphones, regular phones, everything?
It works for smartphone. It works for iPhones and Androids. I don't have the specific updates on me at the moment, but the vast majority of all Android and iPhones will be able to use this. You know, some very old versions will not be compatible, but we don't control that. You know, that's really a Google and an Apple issue.
Okay.
So there are a few people who can't use it because they have a very old phone, but the vast majority of people, that's not a problem.
This is great, Jeff, because, you know, I just recently had COVID, and now that I reported on my COVIDWISE, because I do have it, you know, you can get approached and you get notifications so that this can keep safe everyone around me and my family and friends. So I love it.
Yeah, that's right. And this is where people can get more information if they need to get the information about COVIDWISE. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.